Singh, Kramer,
Yes.
Reichner,
Here.
Henry,
Here.
Ister.
The unfinished business, Jim's house. Is there any audience comment on the agenda?
I just wanted to kind of, I don't know if it's old news or whatever, but I wanted to tell Jimmy I started to get people to volunteer to clean up Overton. So I'm ready for your phone call and then we can figure out how we can get that cleaned up then.
I'll call you tomorrow,
Okay.
because we have all the materials together. We're gonna start this week for sure. I'd like to finish it this week, actually, so
Oh, you want people to start this week? Cleaning it up?
I already have another complaint this evening. So we're gonna start working. So if it's a situation, we get it done before your workers are ready to go, we can find other meetings.
Okay.
Okay, sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. How was vacation?
Awesome. Thanks.
It's nice to be the volunteer and get people to send out Jim, would you like to?
Yeah, we need approval to take and pay invoice for $3,114.10 for Chester Street for some engineering work that was done for, I believe there was the engineering firm, Fresno Service, CES, I'm sorry. Any questions on that? Not me, a second, you got a second?
Yeah, you made the motion and Dale seconded.
Thank you.
Henry,
Yes.
Ister,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Reichner,
Yes.
Also, I'd like to take and make a motion to take it, file for an application for $500,000, excuse me, for the PA Small Water, which is for upgrading your stormwater in the street program for phase 2. The only we have to do is pass a motion, fill the application out, and the mayor sign it. No.
Ister,
Yes.
Kramer, Reichner,
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Now, there's another item that is on the agenda, and I'm going to turn it over to Mom.
Sure. We had a meeting of the redevelopment authority, and we do have one property tonight that the redevelopment authority would recommend that the city council, acting as the board of health, would declare a public nuisance. That property is 616 South Front Street here in Sunbury. And I have a resolution to put before council tonight that says that whereas the city of Sunbury has the legal authority to declare properties a public nuisance, and you're acting as the board of health, that acting as such, that you declare the property 616 South Front Street in Sunbury, Pennsylvania 17801 a public nuisance, and that is under third-class city code, and this code enforcement office shall be designated to proceed with abatement of the public nuisance at this property with notice served on the property owner and all lien holders. So I would put that resolution before council.
I'll make that motion.
Kramer,
Yes.
Reichner,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Ister.
I'd like to make note that, we're going to open the bids, I'm sorry. The bids for the street paving for Henry.
Okay, there's 4 bids. The first one is Meckley. $127,698.30. And this is HRI, and it is $140,591.40. J. Folkroad and Sons. $168,672.32. enterprise stone and lime. $119,188.20.
What's the sense?
20. These three, and she can make sure that, if you want to, you can take them along.
Give
Sure.
them to-
Make sure all the paper
Make sure they're all involved.
Yeah, what we did last year is we just passed a motion on
On the review, sure.
for those bids, so I'll make that motion. Put that in. Yeah.
Go ahead.
And authorize the mayor to sign the documents. Reichner?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Eister? Kramer?
Yes.
There's something.
Thank you.
For your information, we just paid the police pension fund municipal obligation note of $204,097.
Next correction, that's next year's MMO illumination for next year, you pay that? That's for 2017.
2017, I'm sorry. So it's next year's amount that has to be paid. We already paid this year. And then I'd like to make a motion to approve invoices for $129,635.07 for the general fund and $1,885.42 from the group.
Second.
Henry?
Yes.
Eister? Kramer?
Yes.
Reichner?
Yes.
Audience comment? I'd like you to stand up and give us your name when you speak, standing up so we can all hear you.
Lori Johnson, I'm representing SRI tonight, nobody else could come. Tomorrow night is our last movie night. The movie's going to be Rio, starts at about dark, which is 8:45, 9 o'clock. And we also have our merchant mixer tomorrow night. Anybody that wants to stop into the SRI office between the hours of 4 and 6. We put out a little snacks and it's for people to gather, talk, business owners, people that are from the community, anybody that wants to show up can show up. And then September 10th, we have our Renaissance Fair that is going to be going on, so everybody can put that in your calendar. And then September 17th, we have the Wine and Food Festival. This past weekend, we did the River Fest. I think the cardboard boat thing between Mark Lawrence and Slade Shrek was probably the most hilarious thing. It was unbelievable. I don't know if anybody's seen the pictures in the newspaper, but oh yeah, it was really good. And whoever would have thought the boat in the Hill neighborhood would have stayed afloat? It was just a little piece of cardboard. Nobody would have ever thought that, and it was good. And the cardboard boats at 4 o'clock on Saturday was awesome too. Could have been a little cooler on Friday, a little cooler, but other than that, it was pretty good.
Yeah, at least it's a little cooler today.
Yes, which I know because after that whole couple of days, I spent the whole day at the bike park with my grandkids today. I sat in the chair and they rode their bikes around, so it was great. It's one of the best things Sunbury ever did. But yeah, so that's all I have to do, and I want to thank the city. Tammy, Carl worked their butts off, and we had a couple of volunteers that really worked. I mean, really worked. They were there with us till 12 o'clock on Saturday night working, cleaning trash and making sure everything was ready for the church on Sunday. So we had a lot of people that really helped us, and we really appreciate it. Thanks.
Lori, we want to thank you also. You and your crew did an excellent job. We'll put that together.
It's worth it, though. It's worth it. Everybody had a good time. And as you notice, Megan's not here, Slate's not here, Mark's not here. They're all probably done.
You're rusty.
He knows I want to say it.
Oh, wasn't he at work today either? Oh my gosh.
I didn't see him.
Oh, probably did.
Any other comment? Please stand.
Regina Russell, community activist. I would like to thank the city and SRI as a resident of Sunbury for doing a good job. It was a very nice event. I'd like to also thank the volunteers that participated and hope that we can all do it again and do it as a community. I I wasn't here earlier, so may I ask why the Front Street, or what makes the Front Street property a nuisance property, and I guess you're condemning it?
It's been vacant for close to 3 years. I mean, there were people living in it, but they were not authorized to be there. And at one point in time, the son was supposedly taking the thing over, taking the property over, doing stuff. And that's probably going on 1.5 years now. He's never done anything with the property. It's empty again, and it's just a nuisance. Windows are being broke. So we proceeded with it like we did before when he came in and there's back taxes owed on it and stuff like that. So that's why it was declared a nuisance property and turned over to redevelopment.
And I am concerned, and I don't know, and probably never noticed it before, when are the bids actually opened? I looked at when.
She just now opened.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. I want to also thank WKOK and Mark Lawrence and his friends for helping Sunbury to have a successful Riverfest again. Thank you.
Thank you, Regina. Any other comments?
Yeah, I just have a question again, double bets. There is a light that was just installed in the alley between my 12th Street and 11th Street, and I'm just concerned and wondering if it was put there because there's crime going on, or what's going on because it's never been there before. If it was, it hasn't worked in 20
I'm
years.
not sure, but I think it's one of 3 lights that was requested to be put there by residents of that area.
Oh, okay.
I think 4, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, is there?
Is
Well,
that-
I just, having kids, I didn't know if there was something going on, or.
Is that the alley where Bob lives? Yeah, I think he wanted 2 up in that alley. I don't know.
Who, Bob Lagerman?
Miller.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the one, and Terry just verified it, there's only 3 lights, one pole can't be put on because there's a transformer.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
My name's Debbie Creel. A question, across the high rise, we have those big black spotlights. They had one for a while that made the apartment house broad daylight. But they're not being used, and I had suggested the other year to one man, would you switch them around and put the lights over in the river so you have lights at night? Just a thought. So they're there and not being used, if you can switch the light bulbs around, they're facing the river, so you have lights over there instead of what's in the road.
Okay, we'll discuss that with Jim and see what we can do about that.
All right.
I have some other announcements.
We have somebody back there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's fine. Jim Snyder, when someone complains about the weeds and so forth, does the city get their name or whoever it is?
Yes, the city needs to be informed if possible.
No, they don't
It
have.
could be
It
anonymous,
could be
you don't need
anonymous.
your name.
Well, I'm thinking of the East End Fire Company. We got a phone call last week from Eric. And he said it was a courtesy call when I talked to him, but he told someone else someone complained about the weeds around that house that burned down.
I would imagine, yeah, there probably was a complaint if that's what he said, because he's a pretty upfront kid.
Well, when I called him and asked him why the hell he was even calling about it, because really, I mean, we just got the property about a week before that.
And Jim, I don't know, I'll talk to him about it, but, I mean,
Well, he said it was a courtesy call then to me.
that probably was. It was a courtesy call to tell them that somebody complained about the high weeds. And if it wouldn't have been done or not done, then we would proceed to the next step, which would be sending a letter, and then nothing.
Whatever happened to when Mr. Stroh had it and he drugged this thing out for like 6 months? There wasn't any courtesy call to him, I don't think, for
Yeah, well,
We're not a good old third quarter, I understand that.
Dragging the sale out for 6 months, or what? Because he's been constantly because he comes to me for harassment. He talks to me all the time about harassing him when he had the property. I said, no, we're only doing what the neighborhood's complaining about. They're complaining about broken windows and stuff like that. You as the owner must rectify. But yeah, he's not a happy camper with me. I see him about every morning.
I'll tell your little buddy Eric to stay down in the third ward area, and everything will be fine.
He's gonna.
Or you ought to take a trip out to Wolverton Street
That is definitely.
and measure the weeds and the the grass is planted there and do something about that.
Well, he goes where he's assigned to go, and if we get a complaint, we will address it, just like Joe and Mike.
But can I complain about Wolverton Street then?
I think that's already been done. It was done
And when's it
last
gonna
week.
get corrected?
I think Jim said earlier in the meeting that he's going to be starting to address it tomorrow.
Roundup works wonders.
Okay. Another thing, a few months back, there was discussion about putting signs up down along the, when you come off the bridge there on that fence.
On that chain link fence, yeah.
Right. And you came up with some ordinance or whatever, or the state regulation that it could be there?
It's a Highway Beautification Act.
Yeah, what happened that SRI had their sign down there?
Oh, no. So we don't, that's a state property, that's state. We don't take them signs down, the state does.
No, I said there was a sign hanging there from SRI.
I don't know.
We'll inform us.
We're not,
It was
we'll
taken
inform them,
down.
but we don't take the signs down.
Well, what about the fence down here at the Catholic school?
That's private property.
But private property, I thought, could only have signs they advertise for their own benefit, not for others.
That, the private, can be on private property, but they assume the risk if there's any accidents or anything like that. They assume the liability. If that sign is deemed a possible cause of an accident or the liability. And the state said that they would be perfectly willing to turn it over to the city, but we assume all responsibilities, and I told them that we aren't willing to assume any responsibilities at all pertaining to their act.
Well, if there was a fence put behind that fence, did they hang signs on that?
If it's on private property, they have that right.
Anybody's sign? Or does it have to be
Jim,
pertaining to theirs?
Not to interrupt, but Jim, if it's in the right of way, here's what the catch is. That fence coming off the bridge is in the right of way. Actually, I think the Catholic Church's fence is in the right of way also. But it's not us, it's PennDOT, which is monitoring that situation. And it comes from the feds. Feds pass the law, pass it down to the states.
So I gotta complain to PennDOT?
Yeah. Seriously, if it's in the right of way, that's what I'm gonna tell you. It's in the
No,
right of way.
yes, that fence is in the right of way going down Front Street, but
You always make the assumption, but I don't know.
Yeah, I would assume, so it would get so much space from the curb. so-
Exactly, yeah. But that's who is in charge of that.
Well, I'm not picking on the city for hanging those signs up there.
I don't know.
But we went through.
What's good for one is good for another.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Okay, so you're gonna take care of Wolverton Street. Thank you.
Yes.
Regina Russell, I did forget something. National Night Out, I know that we're short on police, but there was not one officer from the city out there. And I believe the purpose of having National Night Out is so that the community can bond with the officers. And with us having so much crime now, this is a very important issue that the police officers and residents of the community get to know who our officers are. Because that's how you get information a lot of times when you're looking for criminals. You don't have to have drones and dogs. All you have to do is start knocking on doors where the crime is committed, and you will find that you'll get information because somebody is working with the police all the time. Also, now we have an officer here tonight, and with the shortage of officers, why would we waste his time sitting here if he's not giving us a police report about what has happened and occurred since the last meeting?
Can I interject here quick? I know exactly what you're talking about the Hill Night or the police night out or whatever, the crime watch or whatever. But we gotta remember too, that we only have one police officer at a time on. We also have to be concerned, I don't wanna send our police officers out there to be sitting ducks either. If everybody knows they're gonna be there, that's prime opportunity for somebody to go and hurt one of them.
Then we should
And that's
stop
what's
having,
going,
the
but that's
country
what's
should
going
stop
on.
having
If you've
national
heard all
night
of
out.
this national news,
Yes.
there's all people are targeting our police officers. I would feel horrible if one of our police officers went to them
Yes.
and was targeted. So I'm thankful they work there.
Acting chief.
I appreciate what you,
Administrative chief.
just excuse me for 1 minute. I do appreciate what you're saying,
Yeah.
but National Night Out this is not the first year that National Night Out has occurred. They do it every year. They've been doing it for over 10 years.
Right.
And our
But this
officers,
is the first
and I don't
year.
want to argue, I don't want to argue.
Chief
Okay,
Miller
you
was
don't have
there.
to, I'm just saying that.
I think I saw Sheriff Wolf, but he
Chief
didn't.
Miller was there too.
I didn't see.
I spoke with
He
him.
was in
Yeah, Jim spoke to
tie
him.
and stuff.
He had a white shirt and a tie.
He was out there walking around talking
They
to
talked to him for about a half hour.
Yeah.
Just wasn't in
10
uniform.
minutes. Okay.
And just the week-
Thank you.
And just the week before, the week
Close.
before that, we had like 9 police officers that were shot around the country. I mean, it's scary, and people were
It's not the
targeted.
first time. It's not the first
But I
time.
certainly, if it was
Okay.
my husband that was an officer, I wouldn't want him
That's
there.
enough.
Yeah.
We don't.
So, getting back to the last issue I had, we have an officer here, can he please give us a police report and kind of make us feel at ease about what's going on in the city? Is that all right with the
I
council
don't
and
know if he has.
acting mayor?
He probably doesn't have it with him. We have,
I submit, just if I may address, that the police monthly report is submitted usually for the first meeting of the month. That is always submitted to council with the mayor's office, and the mayor's office submits to council. So that report is always done monthly with everything that happened during the month of previous month. So that is always submitted prior to the first meeting. Just to address the National Night Out, on Monday of that night, we had an incident. We had about 3 or 4 guys out, including myself. We were there pretty much all night because we had to sit on 3 or 4 people that we had in custody. So at that point, we didn't get out of work till 11, 12 o'clock that day. Some of us, we didn't have enough turnaround time. We had to get some rest. So this was the first year that we didn't have anybody in uniform actually there. This was an unfortunate.
Usually there.
It was an unfortunate circumstances that day. It was just one of those, it just happened to happen on Tuesday, the National Night Out. So that's the reason there that happened. But the monthly report itself is submitted to the council before we speak further.
And so are you here tonight to deliver anything to the community, to let us know anything about what's been going on and what we can do to help you and help the police?
The only thing I'll say about that is after speaking with Chief Miller, because I'm actually the officer in charge while he's not available, we are doing everything we can in our powers to make sure that the streets are covered. There will not be a day or night without a police officer on the street, whether it be 1, 2, or 3. We are making it work, and rest assured that the citizens of Sunbury will be safe.
So everyone in the robberies, all of those people have been apprehended now?
I cannot comment on ongoing investigations. We have had several in custody, but we have other investigations that are still ongoing that I can't comment.
And what about the drug situation or any other robberies? Like are people's vehicles being broken into? Is there anything you can tell us to help us prevent our vehicles from being broken into?
More than glad to speak to.
No, that's not the only thing, your windows get broken into, I'm sorry to
I
tell
would be
you
more
that.
than glad to speak to you after the meeting.
It's not helping the meeting up, I just think it's information that everyone, the residents would like to know. You know, what can we do to make ourselves a little safer? What can we do to prevent our vehicles from being broken into? I'm certain that you can say,
Well, there's
don't have
always certain
anything
things you can
inside.
do to keep the vehicles from being broken into. One is keeping the doors locked. We get a lot of people that don't lock the doors. Keeping lights on at night. If you see something suspicious, you need to report it. We get there as soon as we can, but anything that doesn't look right, it's probably not. So just
Would you
report it.
agree that a lot of times people's vehicles are broken into because maybe they leave something in there that a drug addict feels that he can sell?
Could be.
That would be helpful. Thank you.
Just real quick, Jan Doggy, I want to commend them for what they've been through recently and what they've achieved. I think it's great.
thank you.
They've done a great job.
I had 2 questions, Justice Johnson, Daily Item. The TASER report, do we have the updates on that this evening?
No, and we don't have any of those reports on the taser or anything at this time. Dave? Doing personal.
Personal matters? Okay. And the second one, maybe Kevin, can you put into context the MMO? Is this one of the higher ones? Is this higher than last year?
No, this is $8 grand lower than last
8
year.
grand lower?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
the announcements are music in the park tomorrow night. At 6:30, it will be Timothy's Burden, and on August 30th, it'll be Randolph Ginley Band. No other comments? The meeting's adjourned.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, what is your name? Okay. Oh, hey, Debbie, I've seen you.
I think they said personal.
Yeah, but I mean, I think she meant personnel, but.
I'm not one of them, that happened.